Proponents of a ban on late-term abortion succeeded in obtaining enough signatures to put the question before voters. However, the city clerk could not verify the signatures in time for this issue to be on the ballot this coming Tuesday, so a special election will be held in November. This will also be set aside in case there is a runoff required for this mayoral election, of course. Now, while this question began with abortion, it progressed to touch on issues of the city charter and voter turnout. Here's the clip. The U.S. Supreme Court, new subject, has ruled that prohibitions against contraception and abortion violate the right to privacy set forth in the U.S. Constitution. Do you think that a local municipality has the authority to overrule the U.S. Supreme Court? Mr. Dinelli, we'll start with you.
No, I do not. I do not. I believe that as a practicing lawyer for 34 years, I believe that I strongly believe in a woman's right to choose. I think this is a highly personal issue that a woman has to make. But once again, I think that this is an issue that is very personal, it's very sensitive, and I do not believe government should be involved with it. This is a decision that a woman has to make with conferring with her doctor, conferring with her family, but most importantly, conferring with her faith.
Mr. Hay, same question.
I'm the one that went in front of the city council and tried to get the late-term abortion issue put on the ballot during the mayoral election. Unfortunately, I was told that it wouldn't be fair to the city clerk because she has to count all the signatures. Isn't that what we have her in place for? My answer was get her help. It's a lot cheaper than paying $750,000 for a second election, a special election. A woman's right to choose, I am not in favor of taking away a woman's right to choose, but I am in favor of making sure that that fetus cannot feel any type of pain before an abortion is commenced. And again, in special circumstances, the mother's health, the quality of life for that fetus, of course, there's always exceptions to every rule. But it's not a local issue, folks, and Congress isn't going to solve it because they don't solve anything. They're going to kick it over to the Supreme Court, and that's where it's going to be eventually solved. Because whatever decision is made eventually in Albuquerque is going to go through the court systems. We all know it, so why not just admit what it is?
Mr. Berry, Mayor Berry, pardon me.
Well, I think a little background may help some of the viewers as well. The reason we have some of these referendums coming through, whether it was the minimum wage referendum or the 50% to win a ballot initiative referendum, or now the late-term abortion initiative, the city charter spells out how members of our community can go out and collect enough signatures, and that goes onto the ballot for all of us to vote on. This particular ballot initiative that you're speaking of, Gene, will be on not on our mayoral election, but it'll be on a November 19th ballot. And I think the citizens of Albuquerque, well, I know, will go out and they'll vote individually. There's 330,000 of us who vote, or who are registered voters in the city of Albuquerque. People will go vote on that. If that passes, if it fails, it fails. If it passes, I believe there will be immediate court challenges to that. And I believe that issue will ultimately be decided in the courts. It's really not a mayoral issue per se, but I think the courts will have a lot to say about what any one of us, if we were the mayor, can and can't do if that does pass us.
Now time for 30-second rebuttal, starting with Mr. Dinelli.
This is a mayoral issue. It's an issue of leadership. A woman's right to choose is a very sensitive one that has to be made by a woman, conferring with her doctor, conferring with her family, and also conferring with her faith. This draconian legislation that's going to be on next month's ballot, there's no exception for rape or incest. But I believe that this mayor failed in leadership by not condemning Albuquerque being called the Holocaust of New Mexico and condemning this outside group that came into Albuquerque to push this initiative.
30 seconds rebuttal, Mr. Hay.
Well, the mayor never stated his position on the late-term abortion issue, and we never ever got an answer on why the city council kicked it down the road to a special election. 13% of you people voted in the last election in Albuquerque. 13% of you. I knew if this was on the ballot for the mayoral election, that percentage would increase to 80 to 90%, because if you're for it or if you're against it, you're going to come out and vote. And I wanted to get it on the ballot to get the voters driven to the polls.
Mayor Berry, 30 seconds.
Well, as you can see from Mr. Dinelli's answer, he's running a hyper-partisan campaign in a nonpartisan race. He's tried to take this issue that the city charter spells out very specifically on how it's supposed to work, turn it into a mayoral issue for purposes of political gain. The fact of the matter is the charter dictates how these situations will work. It doesn't take mayoral signature to get it on the ballot. It simply runs through the system, whether it's minimum wage, whether it's this initiative, or whether it's any other initiative. And I think we'll see more of these coming up the way the charter is written. So I think the best thing we can do as a city is treat each other with dignity and respect. He's been called out for running false ads on a hyper-partisan basis on this particular issue, and it's the wrong thing to do. Let's just go out and vote our conscience as a city.
Interesting. Sophie, let me start with you. I like how, first of all, I love how the mayor sort of like reports the issue. This is how it works.
He is trying so hard not to talk about his own beliefs on the abortion issue.
But he also said it's not a mayoral issue. Is it, or is it not a mayoral issue?
Well, it's interesting because certainly Operation Rescue, which is the group that brought the issue to Albuquerque, is trying to make it a city issue, and that has the potential to make it a mayoral issue. And the candidates, 2 of the 3 candidates, have come out and have made statements on the issue as it has impacted the city, because protesters have been here. Certainly, protesters have been here for a long time. If you've driven along Lomas near I-25, you've seen protesters there on San Mateo, et cetera. But suddenly, it is at the forefront of our political, in our voting situation. The other thing, though, that I think that Paul Hay has really brought forward is that it has been a hot potato for these candidates, and the idea that it could affect voter turnout has been huge. And so people really did watch how the city clerk was going to handle counting those signatures quite closely. Was she going to get it done in time for this to show up on the mayoral, this first round of elections? Was it going to show up in the special election? And there was a lot of kind of trying to figure out how would it affect this first round of elections. Would it help the Republicans? Would it help the Democrats, et cetera? I think at the end of the day, no one was really sure.
That's a good point. And Professor Krebs, it's interesting, people are going to come out and vote for this anyway, if you're that whipped up about it, as Mr. Hay is saying. What was the opportunity missed, however, for this mayoral race? In your view, would it have changed anything markedly? Would the mayor's lead somehow have vanished on election day just because this was on the ballot as well? I mean, what's the true impact here? Yeah.
Again, we don't know. I would agree with Sophie. We don't know, because on the one hand, the conservative voters who really want to push this, they would be encouraged to turn out. The liberal voters who oppose it would be encouraged to turn out. There's going to be people in the middle who might who be independent and say, well, I don't support late-term abortions, and so we don't know how they're going to vote. And they're going to be weak sort of Democratic identifiers, like, yeah, I kind of agree with this policy. That's okay. So it's very unclear. I mean, my initial thought on this, and I think I may have expressed this to Dan in a conversation, was that it looks like it might be the kind of thing that would energize conservatives. Right. But upon further reflection, it's potentially a wash in terms of its effect.
Interesting. And the partisanship issue, Dan, Mr. Dinelli brought up. I seem to remember Mr. Dinelli's first TV ad. We're under a minute here, but his first TV ad was about being a Republican, not being a Republican, literally. You know what I mean? So, have we crossed the Rubicon here? Stop pretending these are not partisan elections anymore. Should we just go there and just like it's a Republican, it's a Democrat? You know what I mean?
I don't know that we want to necessarily encourage a system like we see at the state and federal level where there really is just no compromise or back and forth between the two parties. It's hard for me to know. City elections tend to be nonpartisan issues. They deal with crime and garbage, and it's there's not a Republican or Democratic way to recycle material. That's something that the mayor likes to point out. But in this case, it is a Democratic city in terms of voter registration, and the first words out of Dinelli's mouth are almost always, "I'm a Democrat." Right. So he has played that to his advantage as much as he can.
Yeah, interesting. There'll be more comments on city council races and other ballot issues on our website. And I want to thank you all for coming in and doing this on time. Professor Krebs, thank you. Sophie, good to see you again. And Dan, all the great work you've done for the Albuquerque Journal following this race. We take a lot of notes from you, believe me, over here. You're really the leading light on this, so thanks a bunch, all of you, for doing this. As always, all of us here at New Mexico in Focus appreciate your time and your effort to stay informed and engaged. We love hearing from you, and social media is the best way to do that. Find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching New Mexico in Focus. And you can find archived interviews and bonus material on our YouTube channel and at our website, NewMexicoInFocus.org. I'm Gene Grant. We'll see you next week in Focus.